listen, we're about to switch hats, but talk about another interesting part of total well-being and wellness. I'd like to welcome our next guest on the program, Dr. Stephen Weiniger, who's a posture expert and a chiropractic doctor, and with the Foundation of Chiropractic Progress. Doctor, good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's nice to have you on here, Stephen. Give our audience a little background on, the foundation that's a regular participant with us at our events, and we look forward to having you here with us. And then talk a little bit about Posture Month.
The Foundation for Chiropractic Progress is the public communications arm of the chiropractic profession. It is basically communicating to the world, to society, that chiropractic is, well, as I put it, the Rodney Dangerfield of healthcare. People don't give chiropractic the respect for the things that we've helped so many people with in so many different ways. And the axiom that once somebody goes to a chiropractor, they find that they didn't realize how much better they could feel is kind of what the foundation talks about, especially for things like back pain, avoiding opioid abuse. You mentioned taking pills being an issue, and it is a huge issue, and for avoiding problems. And my connection with the foundation is I'm a doctor of chiropractic, but I focus on posture, and chiropractors tend to be also very focused on posture because they look at the body, and when you adjust somebody, you're affecting how the body moves, which affects posture. And the part that we get into specifically is helping people to help their own posture, to look at their posture. I am the what they're calling the chief posture evangelist of posturemonth.org, which is an annual time to focus on posture, and we're working with corporations and people to make them stop and look at their posture and to start having smarter posture habits.
Why is that important, Steve? Why is that important?
Well, especially in today's world, and especially in corporations and companies, people spend a huge chunk of their life sitting. And they're not just sitting, they're sitting with their hands locked together on a keyboard, with their head pushed forward looking at a screen. And when they're not doing that, they're texting on a phone looking down at their belly. And their bodies are literally being molded in this position. I spoke at a conference in Orlando about 2 weeks ago, and I saw a family that had a mom and dad and a boy and a girl. And the boy looked like the dad, and the girl looked like the mom. And they both the kind of family that they look like each other a lot. But when you looked at the dad's posture, he was a little bit rounded forward. The kid's posture was way rounded forward. And the same thing for the daughter. We're training our society to be more folded forward. And this is one reason why we're having so many more problems with back pain, with neck pain. And you mentioned some of the stress and the mindfulness. A lot of that ties back to the body as well. When your body is in a folded posture, there's more stress on it because you can't breathe as well.
Steve, you got me sitting up straight here right now.
You know what? You have not lived until you've been in front of an audience of 1,500 people and said, I'm here to talk about posture, and see 1,500 people all sit up straighter.
Yeah, as soon as you started saying that, I was conscious, but it makes a lot of sense. So that's a message for employers, right? That's why it's important that employers focus on, this part of total well-being. That if people aren't practicing good posture, it has an impact on their health and an impact on their productivity. Correct?
Both, and there's studies showing that the health impact especially is way more than anybody thought. It's not just the inactivity part of it. It's when you train your body to be folded in sitting, your body doesn't work as well. Digestion doesn't work as well. The things that you'd expect, like back pain, obviously, and this is one of the big problems that employers have, neck pain, headaches, these are all things that are well affected by improving postural habits and postural environment. But even things like heart disease and diabetes are impacted by posture. And but on a productivity and a stress part of it, think of somebody that you know that is a powerful person, that is an influential person. How's their posture? Are they hunched over? Are they strong and projecting authority? If you want to be taken seriously, you want to be standing tall. If you're training your body to be folded, that's not how you're standing.
It makes a lot of sense. Ron, this all makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? It's just, we talk about all these pieces, and here's a very important one.
It really it makes a lot of sense. And Stephen, you said chiropractic is the Rodney Dangerfield, but I think don't give yourself enough credit. I think chiropractic has really become much more mainstream over a number of years, where it's now accepted by insurance for reimbursement, and in many rural areas, the chiropractor is the leading professional in that community, helping people that don't otherwise have access to healthcare services. So it's always good to see and hear that.
I really appreciate you saying that, because that's something that we see a lot of, and I've been in the profession for literally decades, and it's astounding how I'll go to dinner with friends that are orthopedic surgeons and neurologists, and the respect that we have in those quarters. But even so, my perception is that chiropractic has not made the contribution to society that I know that we can, because there's so many problems, especially the easy ones like back pain and neck pain, that should be being treated by a chiropractor that aren't just being treated by one.
Mm-hmm. Let me go to the posture focus that you have today. Are there any particular wearables that you promote or use or connect with in your services, or is it just more of an awareness and a physical structuring of how you sit or how you stand? Are there wearables that you recommend?
Absolutely, and there's wearables fall under the umbrella of tools for strengthening posture, and there's a number of different ones in the market. I'm a fan of the Lumo Lift because it has a posture little buzz that when you bend forward, you can program it to give you a buzz every few minutes if you're not sitting straight during that time, and it also tracks your steps. And there's a version that has the corporate buzzes and bells to work with different team training exercises. But the posture becomes a very personal thing in that you need to feel what's right for your body, and the challenge is, once you've spent a big chunk of your life folded, what you believe standing straight feels like may not be the case, which is one reason why, in terms of awareness, the first thing we recommend is taking a posture picture. But wearables are good. There's all different kinds of them, and any tool like that makes sense.
Right. Talk a bit about.
I don't need a vehicle that'll give me a little zap if I'm sitting the wrong way. My wife does that. She tells me to sit up straight. It's kind of like your teachers in school. I have to do one full disclosure. I was watching Shark Tank a few weeks ago, and they were promoting something called Better Back, which is a wearable that you could sit around the house with and learn to sit in a more posture-appropriate fashion. So I tend to try to wear that at night when I can. So I know there are some wearables that are helpful out there.
I think things like that make sense, although it's funny because I saw that same Shark Tank, and this may not be politically correct, but I was jumping up and down when they had that on, because the representation that woman invented it was not quite accurate. If you look at something called NADA chair, NADA chair, it's something that I've used in practice for years. It's a great device, and while the Better Back chair is doing something good, it bugs me when somebody says that they invented something when I look at the two things and I look at some of the history of it, it doesn't appear like that was truth.
Well, it seems to work, at least the awareness.
It does work. It makes a lot of sense, and there's other things like that as well. I've got a standing desk that I use. That's an upright ergo desk. I've got different kinds of things that I'll sit on. I sit on an exercise ball at my desk a lot of times. There's a lot of ways you can improve your postural environment, and that's one of the things I'll be talking about at my presentation at the IHC forum.
So, Stephen, how does if an employer who's listening to this program says, "Hey, this makes sense," how do I get started? How would you guide them to get started?
In terms of short-term easy, go to posturemonth.org, and there's a free toolkit that they can download to put up some flyers in the office about posture awareness, posture control, posture environment, which is what you want to be aware of. in terms of posture, things you can do to improve it, our control environment, or all the different tools going out there. In terms of specific advice on it, that's what I do. We work with companies, and we've got a network of certified posture exercise professionals globally that work to help strengthen posture, and some of those can do on-site lunch and learns, because posture is something that works out best when it's hands-on. But starting a program where you're even just taking a posture picture. The Posture Zone app is a free app that people can download to see what their own best posture looks like, to start benchmarking what standing tall means to them.
Hey,
and then come back in a year, see what it looks like next year.
Hey, Stephen, what's that app again, please? I think that's very interesting. What is the app?
The app is Posture Zone, Posture Zone. And one thing that a lot of professionals do is when you take a posture picture of a patient when they first come in, you do it against a grid. And I know some employers that have put a Posture Zone grid in the workplace, and that's something that they take a picture as part of the annual exam that they do, or as a screening. So that's a benchmark. Like right now, would you be curious to see a clean picture of you from the side, standing the way you thought standing straight was from 5 years ago, and to see how your posture has changed? Benchmarking it and observing it is the beginning of strengthening it.
So is Body Zone a place for employers to go as well?
Body Zone is the public face, and due disclosure, some of the things I've talked about are people that we've worked with, but then not my company. My company is Body Zone. BodyZone.com is a public-facing site. It has posture exercises for the public. The book, it has information about the book that I wrote, Stand Taller, Live Longer. We deal with a lot of professionals on posture practice, and if an employer wants something for themselves locally or in multiple locations, contacting me through Posture Practice makes the most sense. Posture Zone is our tool for professionals as well.
Are there some studies out there that either you or others have done around posture that would show an employer, some metrics on why this is important and how it can kind of move the needle forward on health and productivity?
A lot. There's a lot of different things on posture. When people get up and they're standing up moving, their attention's better, their attitude is better. In terms of learning how to connect posture with reduction of back pain, which is probably the easiest metric from an employer point of view. There's studies showing that when people are spending less time sitting, back pain incidence goes down. And from a staff happiness point of view, that's probably the easiest thing to show. But when you get people moving, there's studies of kids in school that they get them sitting on balls, and you would think that the children would be getting more distracted, but instead their focus went up and their learning went up.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Well, Stephen, we got about a minute to go, and I want to allow you to kind of leave our audience with a few takeaways on how they can get in touch with you. And then to remind my audience right now that Stephen will be conducting a workshop at IHC Forum and Expo here in Atlanta, coming up week after next. So you can come spend an hour with Stephen and get more in depth, and then talk to him, afterwards as well. So Stephen, leave our audience with a few takeaways, and then how they can get in touch with you, please.
In terms of posture, be posture aware of yourself. Start looking at your people's bodies when they're working, because if they're hunched over working, they're going to have more problems than if they're standing taller. Some things that they have to be doing in front of a computer, check. Encourage frequent posture breaks. 60 seconds every 30 minutes to get up and stretch is good. But if you're going to have them get up, don't just get up and move any which way. Try to have it where it's more focused, where the stretch that they're doing when they're getting up is moving the body opposite from the way they've been flexed. If you want to get a hold of me, my email is drw@bodyzone.com, or go to Posture Practice and Body Zone, hit the contact us, and it'll get back to me soon.
Stephen, that's very, very good topic, and appreciated the discussion, and look forward to seeing you in a couple weeks here in Atlanta.
Fantastic. I look forward to meeting. Excellent.
Thanks,
Take care. Bye-bye.